Okay, we are good to go. Well, everyone, again, good evening, good day, good afternoon, wherever it is that you're joining me from and tuning in tonight. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to this Core Values Reimagined webinar. I know that some of you may be joining from North America, and others of you may be right here with me in the lovely Bahamas. And so I am so delighted to see you and to have you join with me at this time. In case there's anybody else joining from elsewhere in the world, I would certainly want to send a shout out to you as well. So by all means, let me know by way of wave or simply type it in the chat, and I'll be happy to acknowledge you. Okay, fabulous. So that said, let me just again officially welcome you to this Core Values Reimagined webinar. Now, for those of you who may not know me, I'm Kinara Lloyd, a training specialist and life influence coach here in Nassau, Bahamas. Life being an acronym for living in faith every day. And I own and operate the Training and Influence Center. I'm also a certified John Maxwell speaker, teacher, coach, and trainer. And I am married with 3 children. I've been married for 16 wonderful years to an incredible guy named Valentino. And our lovely children, we have 3 of them, are affectionately called Cassie, Tino, and Cal. And I am just so excited to be able to, again, speak to you all on this wonderful topic. But before I go into more of what we're going to be discussing tonight, I want to share a little bit of my backdrop. So about 4 years, backstory that is. So about 4 years ago, I decided to trust God and establish this business in order to provide personal, spiritual, and professional development training and coaching to individuals and organizations. But I had no idea what was in store for me. And so it was definitely one of those just go for it or die trying kind of scenarios. And so, in addition to the faith that was required to do just that, I've come to realize that my individual values, along with my company core values, played a significant role in bringing my personal and business visions to life. And so I understand that core values are very important in life. But before we go any further into discussing values this evening, it's my custom to pray before all of my sessions. So if you would, kindly pause with me for a moment whilst I pray. Father, I give you thanks, I give you praise, glory, and honor for life today. Thank you so much for this opportunity to gather with these wonderful individuals from around the world. I pray, Father God, that your presence would be here with me tonight as I speak. Lord God, help me to speak clearly and to speak succinctly and to share on this important subject matter of values, God. I pray that the information that is shared would be beneficial to all those who are listening in, and I pray that they'd be able to, at the end of this webinar tonight, have that much more clarity and understanding around defining their own personal core values so that they can go out and live them daily and experience hopefully a lot more happiness and fulfillment in their life. I thank you for these things. In your son's name, Jesus, we pray. And all who can say amen. All right. So
Amen.
now that that is done, let's move right along. And I want to begin by asking if you have ever, if any of you rather, have ever found yourself, like me, in any of the following scenarios. And you could respond, because I want this to be an interactive session, by show of hands or a simple yes in the chat will do. So again, let me know if you've ever found yourself in any of these scenarios as we're talking about core values tonight. Somebody said or did something that you strongly disagreed with, but you did not speak up about it and felt ashamed afterwards. Perhaps you set some goals for yourself in the past and failed to meet them. Or maybe your life and career haven't quite worked out the way you intended them to. What if what you really want from life is often clashing with what you find yourself having to do or with what's practical? And finally, you're so busy pleasing other people that you're not even sure what your own true values are anymore or at all. I see some responses coming in the chat. I'm hearing yes, 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 lots of yeses. All right. So I'm not alone then. Glad to hear that. My friends, since these scenarios have resonated with you, then this webinar is definitely going to help, because we're going to be discussing not only what personal values are, but also why they're important. And then we're going to go through all of the steps that are involved in defining and prioritizing your values so that you can effectively live by them. You see, like I said, I've come to realize that when you live by your values, you feel better about yourself and you are more focused on doing the things that are important to you. So during this webinar, you'll learn some tips for achieving just that. All right. So let us continue right along. Are you ready to learn about values, my people? I can't see you, but I know you're there. And so I'm seeing some yeses coming in. All right, there we go. You are ready to begin. Now, before we can answer this question, though, what are your values? We do need to understand what is meant by values. And so let's take a look at just that. All right, if we were to define values, because there's so many possible definitions that exist, I found a simple summation in the statement that values can be described as basic, important characteristics and behaviors that motivate us and guide our decisions in life. I like what Ethics Sage defined it as well. And they said that values describe the personal qualities that we choose to embody to guide our actions. Values can be the sort of person that we want to be. It's the manner in which we treat ourselves and others, and our interaction with the world around us. In short, ladies and gentlemen, values help us to determine what is important to us and to provide general guidelines for our conduct. That being said, there are thousands of potential values, and I'm sure we can all list quite a few. Now, my personal values, for example, are faith, excellence, belief in self, selflessness, and self-discipline. Now, these 5 core values, which I identified a number of years ago, I take them a step further and I give a brief description for each of them so that I can be reminded of exactly what I meant when I determined this was my value. So for faith, I say I want to have faith in God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. All right. For excellence, I believe in being excellent in everything I do and say. As it relates to belief in self, I want to have belief in my potential and in my pursuit and accomplishment of my life streams, my life's goals, and overall purpose. And selflessness, I think that's important because I do want to ensure that I'm always selfless so that I can assist others in whatever it is that I can help them with. And self-discipline, the last one, so that I can be effective in growing. I have to be disciplined to grow and certainly develop others as well, which is a part of my purpose. And so, like I said, I discovered these core values about 5 years ago. And what I've found, my friends, is that it's really been a great benefit in having not only identified them, but actually living by them, taking note of them, being cognizant of them at all times. And so it gave me great confidence as well as joy to use them as a measuring tool for gauging success in every area of my life. And so I am very passionate about the need for core values because I've seen it benefit me in more ways than one. Now, if you're still following with me, I want you to appreciate the difference between moral and values, because whenever we think about values, morals tend to come to mind. And while they are related, they're not the same. A moral, ladies and gentlemen, is a system of beliefs that is taught to us for deciding good or bad. It's it helps us to determine um, what is good, and to measure what is not good. Whereas values are personal qualities and behaviors we choose to own and adapt, that comes from within us. Merriam-Webster actually defines a moral as of or relating to principles of right and wrong in behavior, expressing or teaching a particular concept of right behavior. And it also defines it as conforming to a standard of right behavior. So there, and you can see there's a difference between a moral and a value. But what's distinctive about moral claims is that they tend to be considered normal, in a particular environment or in a society. And so it's not really necessarily descriptive. Morals talk about, again, right or wrong actions and what should or shouldn't happen. On the other hand, values are individual standards to judge right or wrong, good or bad, just or unjust. Now, interestingly enough, morals have more social value and acceptance than values. Therefore, a person is judged more for their moral character than their personal values. All right. If you can think of it like this, values could be considered the magnets in your moral compass. I trust everybody is with me so far still. Yeah, everybody's clear? Let me know if you if you're
Yes,
not. This is
it's clear.
an interactive session tonight. You may not be able to chime in. If you could certainly type in the chat. Wonderful. I love feedback. So in this virtual world, we got to make sure that my audience is engaged. And so I'm not in the room with you, but I am in the room with you. And so let me know how you if you appreciate or understand what I'm saying. Great. All right. That being said, then, how do values help you? Let's talk about this for a moment. All right. First of all, it's it's important to understand that everyone has their own personal values, and they can be quite different. So some people, for example, are competitive, while others, they value more cooperation. Some people value adventure, and others prefer security. Values matter because you're likely to feel better and be happier if you're living according to your values, and to feel worse if you don't. So, this applies both to your daily decisions as well as to larger life choices. Hence, my friends, identifying your values allows you to use them when making decisions about how to live your life. So, for example, if you know your personal values, you'll be able to answer certain questions that may come up in life, such as what job or career you may want to pursue. Whether you're just coming out of high school, or if you're thinking of changing career fields, knowing what your values are, having identified them, and then using them to guide you will certainly assist in this vein. It can also help you to determine what kind of individual you should even connect with. Certainly consider as a mate. If you want to decide on whether or not you should take a promotion, you understand that there are these expectations. What's important to you? That would help you as well. Some people use values to determine if they should even start their own business, or if they should remain in the relative safety net of a stable job. I love this one as a mother. Like I said, I have 3 beautiful kids. My values help me determine even how I ought to raise them. All of us as parents should be mindful of those values. I know we're probably doing it already, but you'll find you're so much more effective when they've literally been defined and understood. Um, I love values also for helping me to decide even things like Do I compromise on those areas that may seem, either you can take it either way. Like, am I going to be firm in my decision? Some people use their values once they have identified them as an individual to really determine, am I going to continue following through on my family traditions or my family religion even, or do I travel down my own path, a new road, and ensure that I am being true to me? Would you agree, ladies and gentlemen, that values would or should help with these questions? I see we have some others that joined in. If you do, I hear you, I see you. Wonderful. We're going to continue right along. So let's talk about defining your values. One thing that we need to keep in mind when defining our personal values is that we are unique, and what makes one person happy may leave another person feeling anxious or fearful. And so defining your personal values is the first step to actually living by them and thereby making better choices, which make you happier and leave you feeling more fulfilled. So by defining your personal values, you discover what's important truly to you. All right, so let's go step by step to identify and define your personal values. Now, folks, if you haven't gotten a book and pen as yet, I encourage you to grab one, because for this next segment, I want you to actually jot down some of your thoughts. I'll be giving you some time to do that. Some of your thoughts that will come to mind, be top of mind as we go through these steps, okay? And then after this session is over, when the recording is available to you, you can always have a full brainstorm session to answer the questions. All right, but I still want you to help to actually come out of this webinar having at least a few of your core values identified. Okay, so step one, I want you to think of a time when you were most happy in life. I think that's a good place to start when figuring out what your values are. And by the way, chocolate isn't a value, okay? So what are some of those memories you have when you felt happiest? Think of examples from both your personal and career life from as far back as you can remember. Got your memory? Okay, good. Now that you have that thought in mind, I want you to answer these questions, and this is where your pen and paper comes in handy. What were you doing? Or who were you with? What factors contributed to your happiness? I'll give you 30 seconds to jot down some of your thoughts. And if you'd like, and as long as it's rated G for good, you can also share your comments in the chat. A time when you were most happy. Who were you with? What were you doing? And what factors contributed to your happiness? Okay, I assume you're all writing your responses. I don't see any brave soldiers to have placed their comments or their thoughts in the chat. That's fine. This is all about you tonight and your individual values. Okay, good. So, in thinking about values, sometimes it's really easy to figure them out. So, for example, if you wrote in response to this question, when you last felt happiness, playing games with my children, then recreation may be an important personal value for you. So you with me there? If for example, you wrote serving others, you're happiest when you're serving people, then most likely you value service. So you can use those if it applies as some of your core values that are coming to surface. Okay, moving right along then. Let's look at the second step. Step number 2 is to think of a time when you felt most proud. Most proud. Oh, I see some persons were very courageous and shared their thoughts, their comments. I see you, Madam Patrice and Madam Blessed. Again, it could be during your career or your personal life. And you can answer the questions, when were you, or why were you proud? Did other people share in your pride? And if so, who? What other factors contributed to your feelings of beaming pride? I'll give you another 30 seconds there to jot down your thoughts. I hope this is helping to prod your memories, and certainly to determine some core values. So you can let me know. Let me know. All right, let's move on to the third step then, ladies and gentlemen, and that is to think of a time when you felt fulfilled in life. When was the last time, again, either in the workplace or in your personal life, when you were so satisfied? I mean, you knew that your heart was full, you were fulfilled. And once you've grabbed that that thought and brought it to the front, I want you to consider what need or desire was actually fulfilled. What need do you realize was fulfilled? Oh, I see some responses coming in again. I see your comments, Lisa. I hear that. Also, as it relates to being fulfilled, answer the question, how and why did the experience give your life meaning? How so? Why so? You may also want to jot down any other factors that contributed to your feelings of fulfillment. Ah, I see. Yeah, that would be a good reason to feel proud and fulfilled, Ronaldo. I see your comment as well when you got your first degree. So what did you recognize came out of that? You know, I see, Lisa, you said when you received your certification in treasury management because it was during a time when you wasn't sure about your ability to learn at that level. That's excellent. Yeah, so you recognized there, you didn't know, I'm assuming you were answering that for proud, but you said yes when you were proud. That helped you to determine that accomplishment, and it gave you confidence there. I see. Okay. Valentino, hey, I see what you said when you got your first award for your work in production. Great. So you can consider that the specific need that was being fulfilled there. And like I said, the other questions, how and why did that experience give your life meaning? Okay, so obviously I would encourage you to review this video once it's available for replay, if you've not jotted down the questions already, but give this some more time for the sake of our brief session here tonight. We can't go through it in detail, but definitely allocate additional time to really think this through and identify what your core values may be. Now, a few minutes ago, I talked about the fact that values are sometimes easy to figure out. However, at other times, values may require a bit more work to decipher. For example, you may not be able to think of a memory per se, or determine your values that way, but perhaps you recognize that you are inspired by stories of highly successful businessmen. Let's just use that as an example. Then maybe your important value in life is determination or achievement, or it could be wealth and success. If you're inspired by great leaders, for example, and world changers, maybe you value leadership or courage. Maybe it's just integrity and peace. A great, strong leader is usually one who has high levels of integrity. So that may be what it is for you. So you may have to think of it at different levels to really pull out what your value is. But whatever it is, try to examine it precisely as you think of think through those stories that you relate to. Okay. Wonderful. So let's put it all together now, folks, and see what we've got. So if you've been writing, I want you to consider your answers that you've come up with for steps 1 through 3. And based on your experiences of happiness, pride, and fulfillment, you should have already amassed at least 3 to 5 core values that you see are relevant for you. They've come to light. And so if you have that, if you realize you have at least 3, I'd like to see either by way of hands or in the chat, let me know that you've already pulled out some core values. And if not, I want you to take note of this website, because they literally have a list of over 300 core values already put together, and that should help you greatly in actually determining what yours may be. In fact, if you're able to and you want to open another tab, then I encourage you to just quickly look at qualitycharters.org. qualitycharters.org, and search for hiring for fit values. If you can, that's fine. You can just write it down and visit it when you have an opportunity to do so. But you're looking for the hiring for fit, FIT, values. They will then they should direct you to a PDF.
What was the website? Quality what?
Quality Charters. QUALITY. See, that's right. I'll just put it in the chat. Thank you for that reminder, Mr. Ronaldo. Qualitycharters.org. Because remember, I said this is going to be an interactive session, and so I invite your active participation. So check it out. If you could go to another tab, look at the very long list there of core values, and as you look through the list, jot down the top 10 values that stand out for you. Remember, we're not going to get it perfect tonight, but I do want you to leave at the end of this webinar with a listing of some core values that have been resonating with you, and just going through these exercises. So if you're there and you found the site, the document, by all means, let me know. Okay, good. I see some persons are responding. Great. So some of you are seeing it. If you're not able to, by all means, visit the site afterwards, and let that help you in determining what your core values look like. I'll pause here for another minute and a half or so whilst you do that. If you do not have the site handy, let me see if I can share some with you.
Yeah.
You're looking for, you want to write down at least the top 10 that are just, they're almost bouncing off the page at you tonight. Okay, so these are some of them here on this slide. I'll just scroll up so that you can take a look, if any, as I'm scrolling, for those who can't access it right now. And I see we have some very proactive, helpful persons in the session tonight. Thank you, Madam Yolanda. I appreciate you recording some of them in the chat. There's so many, you know, consciousness, elation, gregariousness. Are you the friendly kind? You just, that sociable one, always wanting to engage others and that you meet. Perhaps that's a core value for you. I love these unique ones like decorum. I could think of some persons who it's clearly a value, even if they don't realize it, because that's just the way they carry themselves. That's the way they act. You know, then there's exuberance, integrity. That's a common one. Fidelity is good. Devoutness. You know, those people who are, they're devout with whatever they go after. Dominique, it's qualitycharters.org. Qualitycharters.org. That's what the site that has this list of more than over 200, almost, or literally 300 core values. And at this time, I want you to, as you're scrolling through, you're not perfecting it tonight, but I do want you to just indicate those top 10 that are standing out to you as core values. Okay, that's fine. For those who haven't gotten it as yet, if you put in the Google search, it should have come up, but this is why I have it on the screen. You can, as I'm scrolling through, if there are any that apply, you can just jot them down. Privacy, and I obviously can't show them all based on size of my screen at this time. All right, I see some coming in the chat. Freedom and trust. Integrity, respect. Oh, Yolanda, maybe you were sharing your personal values, or that you were just sharing some options. I see you have quite a few there. So good. I think that's oh, your personal values, got you. I think that's good for now. So I will be happy to share that with you. If you did not get it exactly, just send me an email and I can send you the link if you so desire after this webinar today. But by now you should have had 10 core values that are important to you recorded. And we are next going to look at the fifth step, which is to prioritize your top values. All right. So many people find this particular step to be the most challenging, actually, you know, but it is a crucial step to determine what is most important to you. And so I want you now to take another minute and a half to 2 minutes and select the top 5 values that you feel should be at the on the higher end of your priority list, the top of your totem pole. What are those top 5 that are just resonating with you? And in really deciding on, once you've decided on your top values, then what you should do to really perfect this exercise is to compare each of the values and then place them in order of importance. And so if you have competence, if you have integrity, if you have loyalty, if you have security as some of your values, then you're literally going to put them in paramount order. And so if integrity is an absolute must for you, then that should be at the top of your list as most important. Okay? Everyone's with me? You're completing, going through this process? I hope so. I take that as a yes, you're busy. Okay, so let's look next at, because again, just for the sake of time, we can't allocate all the time that's needed to complete these. So I just want to get you started in this process. So once you want to prioritize your values, it's then going to be time to reaffirm whether or not they fit with your life and your vision for yourself by answering the following questions. Do these values make you feel good about yourself? Are you proud of your top 5 values? Whatever they are, as you've recorded them, when you think on this exercise later, ask yourself, would you be comfortable and proud to tell your values to people you respect and admire? I see your answers coming in. Great. Glad to hear it. Do these values represent things you would support, even if your choice isn't popular? And it perhaps may place you in the minority. Yeah. All right. Okay, great. Fantastic. Then the next thing that I would want to present to you is some additional questions for you to consider if you still find that you are not quite sure what may be your values. And so questions like what's most important to you in life, or what makes you angry? If you were guaranteed success, what would you want to change about the world or about yourself? These questions can also help you land on a conclusion for your values. How do you respond to hardship or to good fortune? Another important one to think about is, who are your closest friends? What kind of people are you hanging around? What are their values? What do they stand for? That's a good one to measure. They say birds of a feather flock together, right? And this last question that I'll present to you for consideration is, how do you treat others around you? Or perhaps, what would you prefer, or how would you wish to be treating them? Hmm. All right, moving right along then. We're going to talk next as we begin the wind down. Can you believe time has already flown by? And we're almost done. We're going to talk about living your values. And so how do you actually now incorporate them into your life? And so when it comes to applying your values to your life, making value-based choices may not always be easy. I understand that. However, making a choice that you know is important to you, making a choice rather based on your values, even though it may be difficult, it helps in the long run. Okay. And so up next, we're going to be talking about some tips for incorporating these values into your daily life. Okay, great. So when you think about your goals, your current goals, for example, um, are they aligned with your newly identified values? Because it's important that you do so, or you incorporate these values into your goals whenever you create them. So because you want to consider the big picture, the of big scheme in terms of life. And ask yourself questions such as, are you living according to your values in your life as a whole? Does your career choice reflect your values? Do you enjoy working where you're at? It's a good indicator. Are you comfortable carrying out their policies, doing the work that you do? It's a good indicator as to whether or not your values are aligned there. How about your activities, folks, outside of the workplace? What do you engage in when you are off and you're in your downtime? Are they aligned with what's important to you? Are you spending your time on things that really matter? I know it could get heavy. It could really get heavy. Yes, Lisa, thanks. It really does get the brain thinking when you consider these questions. Ronaldo, you say you stay to yourself, huh? Ah, I see your responses. Great. By using your identified values to answer these questions, achieving your goals will be more fulfilling and more meaningful. Remember, in the advertisement of this particular webinar, I talked about um, your your need for happiness and the fact that if you have not identified and aren't living by your values, you may not be as happy in life, as contented, and certainly not as fulfilled. And so we want to live happy and fulfilled life. I'm a big proponent of that. I have discovered what that feels like, and I just want to share the good news with everybody. And so when I really thought about it, I said values are a good step in the right direction to living a more happy, fulfilled, and contented life. Okay, so let's continue right along. How do you make decisions according to your values? Man, listen, there's no doubt that um, writing and pursuing long-term goals can help you to get where you want to be in life. And when one is in the valley of decision, about major decisions that need to be made in your life, core values greatly help. But you know what? Living your values is also about the small day-to-day decisions you make as well. So let me ask you this. In the moment, do you tend to react to situations in ways that align with your values? I want to know. Do you tend to always react to situations in ways that align with your values? I know, another food for thought moment. Getting some yeses. I imagine there are some no's as well. It's coming in. There you go. And you know what? That's understandable. I hear you. I totally get it. Because it's not always easy to make decisions that align or to act in accordance with our values. And so I've got you covered tonight. I've given some thought to ways in which can help you in this vein as well. So here are some techniques to assist with you living more consciously in accordance with your values. So for one, you can make it a habit to read your list of values every morning when you wake up. Just have it handy. In fact, a good practice is, I don't know, most persons have probably heard about vision boards and keeping your vision before your eyes. Well, the same is true with values. You want to keep them before your eyes. So put it on your room, the back of your closet door or something, somewhere where you're going to see it every day. Some persons have, post-it notes around their their office or in their home, whatever you choose, but keep it before your eyes so that you can see. Visualize also the day ahead and plan out how you're going to live by your values throughout the day. So anticipate situations. You have that difficult colleague who's get right on your last nerve or under your skin, as some people would say. Think about how you're going to demonstrate and stay true to your core value of respect, for instance, instead of telling her a piece of your mind or something. You could print out your values and keep them close to you, in your your nightstand drawer or something. Um, a good habit too, one I love is to place it on your phone. Keep it on your mobile phone or even your computer as a backdrop. you know Set up reminders as well, so that throughout the day, if you really want to take it to the next level, set a reminder for the morning, midday, mid-afternoon, and take note of your values and try to stay true to them. And I'll wrap this part up by saying this: whenever you stray from your values, you recognize that you didn't quite get it, you didn't live up to it like you wanted to, reflect upon it. Analyze the situation afterwards and ask yourself, what could you have done differently? Give yourself a break. You're really you wanting to be more deliberate about it, and so be gracious unto yourself and ensure um, that you just plan so that next time you will be able to work it out much better and handle it differently. Okay. It's so interesting. I know you're here. I can't see you, but I see your responses. I do want to know, before we really take this to a close this evening, do you think these tips are helpful? Let me know. What are they beneficial to you? Can you see them working? I want this to be, effective. All right, good. So I see your responses coming. Very helpful. Very love it. Wonderful. And that's what it's about. It's about me being able to provide you with um, practical tools and information to help you not only define and understand what your values are, but like I said at the beginning, to live them out and to reap the benefits as a result of doing just that. All right, so I would love to hear from you now, though. I've been talking about the fact that I can't see you. I could see your responses, but I want to invite at this time Anybody who would want to share um, something that has stood out to you this evening. Perhaps you heard something that was rather surprising. Just let me know how you're feeling. I'll open up the room at this time for persons to share, just 60 seconds at a time, so that if others want to, they can do so as well. Anybody care to share? What did you find most beneficial? You can unmute yourself rather, and actually chime in here verbally if you wish. Anybody has courage as their value tonight?
Hi. Yes, hi. This is Lisa.
Oh, hey, Lisa. Great. Thank
Hey,
you.
yes, I just wanted to say, first of all, I have core values, but I thought this was a great exercise, a great reminder for me, and it was also a good way of helping helping me to help others who don't know how to define their values, their core values. And so for me, that was great in the fact that you also put in I think it was chart or something. I didn't write it down because I'm cooking, but
Gotcha.
it was charter something to be able to find a lot of those.
Qualitycharters.org.
Okay, to
Mm-hmm.
find those different words, just taking us through the exercise to help us to establish them, just the starting point. So I thought that was really good. And
Excellent.
also just realizing that, yes, we do fall short. We don't always follow our core values, but just get back on it. Get back on it. There's no
Mm-hmm.
condemnation. So very good. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Well, thank you for that feedback, Lisa. Much appreciated. That's great. I'm so glad that you've benefited from this session. I see some comments in the chat as well, but if anybody else wants to chime in verbally, do that. Also, I am fine with that. Most definitely helpful. I'm grateful for this session. It was a huge help. Okay, it was very informative. The list of values and the questions were it for me, and so on. Okay, in the chat, as Dominique, to answer your question, you can type in hiring for fit to pull up the PDF file. Okay, thank you for sharing, Lisa, and those who typed in the chat. That is absolutely wonderful. Well, let's have a quick review then, everyone. We talked about the fact that values are those things that are most important to us and that provide general guidelines for our mode of conduct. We should think of values as the magnets in our moral compass. Ultimately, values help you live the life you want in a satisfying and a fulfilling way. And based on your experiences of happiness, of pride, and of fulfillment, you can use that as a great starting point to determine your core values. You can also rank your values to apply them to the decisions you make and how you live your life. All right. So that's our review. I got your feedback so far. I want to make sure I provide an opportunity for any questions that may be on your mind as well. So you can let me know here if you have any questions. If not, then
I don't have any questions. I just have a comment.
Sure, go ahead.
What I could appreciate about the exercise is it just helps you to get a little bit clearer, get a little more clarity on what it is you'd like to focus on, what you want to draw out of just your experiences and interactions daily with people, what you want to get out of each interaction, particularly in customer service, what you're aiming for. Just so you don't waste time
Yes.
just so you get the job done, and just so you can draw from that experience what you would like to be at the forefront.
Okay. Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear your feedback, Letitia. Thank you for sharing. That is great. Yes, it's important to well, you really appreciate when you've identified your core values so that you can know what you should be focusing on, so that you can know what you need to be doing as a priority. Okay, so I was going to share with you some resources for you to also check out if you want additional information. You can refer to mindtools.com. They have some really good info. Business.tuts plus, that's TUTSPLUS.com. And then also ethicsage.com for additional information. And I just want to be able to help you out as much as possible. And so I thank you all very much for um, your attendance here tonight. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for responding. I told you all I don't like to do lecture style sessions, so virtual is a little difficult for me, but I work with it as best as I can in any event. And so I do appreciate all of your active participation tonight. And I trust that you found it really, really helpful in determining what your values are and then moving forward, being able to apply them to your life. So I want to also say here before you leave, if you are interested in participating in any additional similar webinars, then let me know via email or however you feel free to contact me on my Facebook page. If you'd like to learn more information about upcoming mastermind groups, because I do host mastermind groups where individuals who are interested in studying a particular topic of interest can come together on a weekly basis and study a particular book together. The next one I have coming up is going to be entitled Most People Communicate. Everyone communicates, pardon me, few connect. Slipped my mind for a moment there. That's the next mastermind group that's coming up. If you'd like to be a part of that or learn more information about it, just hit me up. I'll be happy to share that with you. Or if you just want to sit and talk with me or have a one-on-one coaching session, I'm also open to having those as well. Just send me an email at kinara@thetraininginfluencecenter.com. kinara@thetraininginfluencecenter.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Kinara.
Hi.
Sorry.
Yes.
A lady, she was asking to send the website, please, again.
Okay, no
She
problem.
didn't get them, Miss.
Yes, I see that's from Dominic. Great. Thank you for
Yes.
letting me know. Appreciate it. All right. So yes, that's a wrap then. I think we are done. We started on time and we now completed on time as scheduled. I appreciate you all being here. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of your week and have a happy and fulfilled life. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good night.